Happy birthday, Claressa. Stop everything because what was supposed to be a celebration turned into a crime scene with cocktails. And the main suspect, Remy, entered as if she had nothing left to lose and everything to say. Yes, you all, the rumors are true. Remy did not invite Papoose and Claressa to her extravagant engagement party, and she turned the entire place into a reality show reunion with real blood, real shade, and real consequences. She was walking through the room like she was haunting her own past. One long look, one high heel click at a time. When all of a sudden you brought her to my city, gave her my blueprint, and called it love. That one line broke the entire room. Champagne stopped flowing, lashes trembled, and Papoose looked like someone had unplugged his soul. What followed was screaming phones, guests running, and Claressa practically getting ready to square up in stilettos. Was this revenge a warning or a planned takedown that had been simmering for months? If so, buckle up, because we've got this. Wasn't a party, rather, it was an ambush. Let's get into the chaos and rewind the tape. It was meant to be a night of celebration. Happy birthday to you, dear. Applause music, thank you. Applause music, applause, happy birthday. Papoose and Claressa Shields, hip-hop and boxing loyalists, recently announced their engagement. And what better way to show off their love than a high-profile, celebrity-studded event at one of Atlanta's most prestigious rooftops. Cameras rolling, stylist teams on standby, champagne flowing like a flood. And loud vines delusional because underneath all the glitz and smiles, there was a storm waiting to happen. And that storm's name is Remy. She is the original queen of loyalty, the woman who held Papoose down during his prison sentence. Career changes and industry shifts, and she is now watching from the sidelines as he flashes a new ring on a new hand. Next to a new queen, at least that's what he believed, because according to accounts, Remy wasn't supposed to be there at all. People in Papoose's own circles say they were told to act quickly if Remy showed up. But how do you deal with a woman like Remy? You just hope she doesn't arrive too late in the middle of the second hour of the party. Why knows his nickname, right? Happy birthday, Isaac, as Claressa finished her 5th bottle of Bride of the Night. Papoose was recounting the same story about how they met at the perfect moment. The music faded, the doors opened, and the crowd froze. Even the DJ fumbled the beat. And you could feel the oxygen being snatched out of the room as Remy walked in without any words or introduction. Keep in mind that this was not just a party. It was a full-scale PR stunt, a rebranding moment where love wins. The media rolled out captions and professional lighting. And influencers posed like they were at the Met Gala. But when Remy walked in, it turned into a funeral with free drinks. They forgot that Remy doesn't raise her voice. Instead, she raises hell, and she didn't come to scream. Rather, she came to end careers. Let's talk about context, because this isn't just about a woman who was scorned. It's about history. Remy and Pat weren't just a couple. They were a brand, the literal face of Black love for years. They stood on red carpets, sat on talk shows, and posted about each other every day. It was Thursday as planned, but tension had been building ever since rumors of Papoose and Claressa began to circulate about gym sightings, podcast appearances, and just friends in interviews with too much chemistry. Remy went silent, without denial or damage control, which is how you know she was planning something back in the party room. She doesn't even look at the horror or the beast rappers trying to act relevant. And she walks straight toward the center where Papoose and Claressa are posing for a photographer as if they were in a Tyler Perry final stops clocks. Claressa looks like Pap dead in the soul, and she smiles so calmly that it makes people shudder. She says, "You brought her to my city, gave her my blueprint, and called it Love the Disappear." And y'all, that wasn't just a line, that was a warning. From there, chaos ensued. Phones went up, security panicked, and a bartender screamed, "Old hell no," and ducked behind the bar. Remy didn't flinch and she turned to leave. But before she did, she turned to enjoy the rain. "It still smells like me and my ex-side." By the time ours user was taken down, the internet was already catching fire. Someone had posted a complete video to TikTok with the caption, "Remember M just crashed Pap's party and turned it into a funeral. R.I.P. Black Love." And that was only the beginning, because what happened after the party wasn't just drama, it was war. Remy leaves like a boss, with no drama, no dragging, just vocal annihilation. And Papoose was unable to speak. Claressa was unable to blink. And the crowd was unable to stop talking. Heels clicking on marble floors, but inside the venue, it's a complete collapse. The music stopped and the DJ silently unplugged his aux, Claressa, frozen, who was staring into space as if she had just taken a right hook from Karma and Papoose, who appeared to have just watched the stock market crash in his honor. No one knows what to say, because after the blueprint enters and reminds you that she owns the building, the real damage was still happening, because within 30 minutes, the phones were firing as Remy's boober came off. The way Pap stood there, silently, yes, he was guilty, and by the time the sun rose, the footage had already been shared on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, and probably a WhatsApp anti-group chat as well. But that was only the beginning, because an anonymous close friend of the bartender sent DIMs to several blog pages displaying screenshots, reportedly taken from Papoose himself. These weren't just "how are you" texts either. They were emotional. The message read, "I didn't plan it like this. She was just there when Remy wasn't another. I miss how quiet it was with you at this party, didn't we?" And you know the internet doesn't play when they get their hands on contradiction. Suddenly, family began reposting old interviews, such as the time Papoose said on national TV that Remy is the reason I know what real love looks like. Those clips are now being stitched on TikTok with comments like, "Ain't no way this is the same man who gave that speech just to the venue manager's voice." Disguised, of course, stated in an exclusive interview with the Lie Gossip podcast that the moment Remy walked in, the mood died and everyone froze. Security asked if they should intervene, but Pap said no, let her talk. That's when I realized it was over. "Excuse me, sir? You allowed her to enter and ruin the room? That's not security. That's bottle service sabotage." While the public was searching through footage, reposting clips, and picking sides, Claressa Shields was planning her own clapback. The post featured a full-body glam shot with a flawless gliding caption that read, "Queens don't compete with ghosts. They rule, girl." The comments were harsh, saying your party got hacked like a reality show finale. Not you calling her a ghost when she built the castle you're trying to decorate. Remy said, "So sit down still." Cleo wasn't done. She went live with a slick ponytail, glossy lips, and a smug smile that shouted. She practiced this in the mirror, saying, "I had my moment, but I'm the future." And then, all of a sudden, #AndMeQueen became popular. Even those who were supporting Claressa a week ago switched sides, saying that she should have handled the situation with grace, not shave. When Remy entered the room with class, Claressa responded like a newbie one-incer looking for followers. And then came the Petty Olympics, where Papoose attempted to post a statement that said, "You ready? No one wins when the family feuds. Let's focus on love, sir." Feud, you proposed in front of flashing cameras with the woman you allegedly texted Remy weeks ago, and the comments drove him to the lowest point. You're quoting Jay-Z while betraying the band. So go write vows to your ring girl instead of statements to us. Your legacy ended the moment Remy said hello. According to real sources, a reality show pilot deal was put on indefinite hold, a major. Music magazine canceled a full cover spread featuring Claressa and Pap's upcoming couple campaign. And a reality show pilot deal was canceled. Since everyone wants to hear Remy's side of the story. The power couple and guest music are allegedly being offered a solo interview and a cover feature. The twist is that she hasn't said a word, posted anything, tweeted anything, had any interviews, or given any clapbacks, just that one night, that one sentence, that one exit, and the silence screaming. Fans are in conspiracy mode, analyzing the timing and trying to figure out who really knew she would show up. The big question is whether this was a party or a set of events that backfired. Because what happened wasn't just public embarrassment, but also a reputational collapse. Claressa is still attempting to maintain her image with hashtags and rhinestones, but the buzz is fading, the glamour is cracking. And some even think a stylist on Claressa's team leaked the location to Remy directly. One user wrote, "This wasn't random. Remy walked in like she knew exactly who was going to be where. She didn't crash the party," although the internet was still reeling from Remy's one-liner. Ambush. The collapse had only just started behind the scenes because what Remy left behind wasn't just a viral moment. It also included ruined contracts, furious sponsors, and a couple holding hands in public while privately watching their empire burn. Papoose and Claressa had intended to ride the engagement wave straight into a new brand era, which would include a couples podcast, an exclusive fragrance drop, and possibly even a reality show pilot. But now it's all falling through their fingers faster than their public relations team can update Twitter. A major streaming platform reportedly pulled out of a deal within 24 hours. And a luxury brand discreetly removed CL and Papoose from their influencer roster. The irony of the new cover is that it's Remy, the woman who didn't say a word, didn't throw a drink, and didn't scream, she just walked in and delivered. Papo is spiraling, according to insiders, and he says he's deeply regretting how the party went. One anonymous friend claims, he said, "I thought I had control of the moment. I didn't expect her to show up like that." No one ever expects Grandma to show up, they just pray she doesn't, Claressa. Remy, on the other hand, is playing the long game with no interviews, tweets, or Instagram captions. Silence has never sounded louder. However, she continues to adhere to her queen narrative, posting affirmations every day that talk about peace, power, and rising above. However, no matter how many crown emojis she includes in her captions, the crowd has already chosen Ray, and the streets are filled with her. One fan tweeted that Claressa wore the dress that Remy wore to the legacy, while another said that Remy left the room, but the silence she left behind is still louder than Pap's proposal. Even fellow cellists began to weigh in, with one anonymous artist posting a now-deleted Instagram story that said, "There is a rumored non-disparagement clause linked to an ongoing split agreement between Remy and Pap translation, which states that if P made public moves, such as proposing to another woman before things were legally finalized, he could be held accountable for breaking that agreement." The Hammer then dropped a legal document that was blurred, watermarked, but very real, and it was leaked to a gossip page. We're not talking about apology money. We're talking about 6 figures in brand damages, abruptly those Papoose brand deals. Frozen sources say at least 2 music companies are reevaluating his endorsements. A sneaker collaboration that was supposed to feature him and Claressa was quietly canceled. And let's not forget the messy details, because text messages, purportedly from Pap's side, showed that he knew Remy might show up. He told a friend that she might pull up, but I doubt she caused a scene. No, sir, she caused a rewrite of the story. Then the studio leaked a blurry clip posted by someone who showed Remy in the booth with headphones on dropping bars, which caused the internet to pause. The lyrics are barely audible, but one line, "He let her wear the ring, but I built the throne," came through, and suddenly TikTok exploded. Fans created fan cuts of Remy entering the party with theme music playing behind her, and people began remixing the video and titling it "The Realest Diss." Remy hasn't confirmed the song, but the streets have already crowned a classic move forward quietly. Good luck with that, because you can't recover quietly from public betrayal, legal smoke, and a diss track that hasn't even been released yet. Claressa's reputation, which was once unstoppable in the ring, is now being tarnished because she celebrated too soon after winning the man, losing respect and being the new girl instead of the real one. The real one always wins in the end. So what was supposed to be a celebration has now turned into a case study, highlighting how quickly fame can change. This was a cultural reset. Remy entered the room without warning, without a plan, and with just one sentence, she was able to turn the tables on the press and the power dynamic. Now, brands are reportedly leaning in on her, and networks are allegedly drafting offers for Ren's redemption, Aries, which would follow her life after Scandal, Papoose, and Claressa. They are reportedly taking some time offline to regroup, which we understand to mean figuring out how to clean up the mess they threw confetti on. Remy's team hasn't even confirmed or denied anything. The world waits to see if Ari will speak, if the disc will drop, if Pap and Claressa will even attend the wedding, because at this point, the only thing that got married was their reputations to disaster. What began as a love story turned into a lesson about never undervaluing a woman who once made you who you are. And Ree doesn't need the last word because she already had the only one that mattered. Silence is still working overtime because in the world of Scandal, the loudest clapback is the one you never have to say, has subsided and the glitter has been cleared away. But the issue still stands. Did Remy simply enter a celebration, or did she enter a legacy that was never hers to lose? Papo believed he was commemorating a fresh start. Claressa believed she was standing in triumph.